Alright, so not to go totally armchair psychologist on you guys, but I do think Sneako might be going a little insane, and this is not totally baseless, I'll tell you why I think this, but before I get into anything, I want to make it clear that when I say he's kind of losing his mind, I don't mean that in like a pejorative way or like an attacking way. I'm actually just kind of observing his demeanor and like how he's behaving after certain things. I'm not trying to call him insane to discredit things he said or to invalidate his opinion or just to roast him. I do think that he's kind of experiencing some sort of mental problems. Now I'll give proof for this in a second, but first things first, he recently got into a fight with Sean Strickland, a UFC fighter, and many people were condemning Sean Strickland for this because he doesn't hold back on Sneako at all. He literally boxes him as if he was one of his opponents in the ring for a UFC card. He is absolutely ruthless, leaving Sneako bloody, and I don't even feel comfortable showing the footage in the video because it's so violent. And I don't think it's crazy, especially after you hear what Sneako himself says about how he's been feeling after this. Like, I think he actually has had like a brain injury or something. I actually think Sean Strickland hit this guy in the head a little too hard and now he's become kind of like a vegetable. And I'll let Sneako himself admit it.
On Friday, I'm losing track of the dates, bro. Like, honestly, I've never had a concussion that serious, but like I was even watching the Rocky movie and Rocky was counting the numbers on the house because Rocky's really stupid and Rocky has CTE and that's kind of the whole joke. He's like, oh, Adrian. You don't know, Rocky is a boxing movie from the 70s. And so he's trying to buy this house. He's trying to buy a condominium to invest his money from his first fight. Oh, condominium? I never use those because he thinks it's a condom, whatever. And so he sees the numbers of the house he's supposed to buy and it adds up to 9. And I was like trying to add it up with Rocky in real time. He's like, oh, it adds up to 9. That's a good number. And I was like, does that add up to 9? 3, 3, 2, 2, 2. I was like, yeah, I might have a concussion, bro. I think something might be up with my head. That I was counting the numbers of the house slower than Rocky and Rocky 2.
So it's definitely plausible that this guy has a head injury of some sort, and I think that whether this is related or not, I can't help but draw a connection. He's also been acting kind of schizo on his stream, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So recently a YouTuber, Gokanaru, dropped a video on Sneako. It's a super long hit piece sort of video just compiling all of Sneako's hypocrisy and double standards and just clown behavior over his career. And to engage Sneako more with the content, he actually kind of made it more engaging by mailing Sneako a toy robot, because part of the video, and I'll link it down below so you guys can watch it, is just describing Sneako as an NPC, you know, the same thing that he calls other people that he doesn't like. Sneako calls people NPCs when in reality he's the NPC at the end of the day. And Sneako had a PO box open during Christmas for his viewers to send him gifts and stuff, which is interesting because A, I thought he was a Muslim, and B, because why would you ever spend money on a gift to send Sneako? That's actually ridiculous. This is the same dude who criticizes brokies and people who don't know how to spend their money and the bots, right? But realistically, you actually have to be a robot to spend money on an item and then send that over to Sneako, thinking he'll do anything besides completely disregard it and show like no gratitude whatsoever. So when this PO box was open, Gokanaru sent Sneako a action figure of a robot, and prior to publishing his video on Sneako, he was actually in a Discord call with Sneako on his live stream, getting him to do this ARG that he had created with the intention of leading him on to watch the hit piece live.
Are you awake?
Yes?
Do you want to escape the Matrix?
Bruh.
Well then, follow the white rabbit. That's me. We have a fun game organized for you. All you've got to do to participate is call me, and the game will begin. So come on, what are you waiting for? Call me, Sneako. Simply join the call and let me take care of the rest. See you soon.
Do I do it?
And Sneako falls for it and ends up watching the hit piece live, and by the end of watching it, he kind of goes a little insane and concludes that Gokanaru is this obsessed stalker, hater person who actually wants to physically harm Sneako and is unlike all the other haters, because Sneako to most of his other haters just usually calls them the F slur and kind of dismisses them and just kind of roasts them. He calls them soy boys and this and that. But with this specific video, I don't know if it's the passing of time or if it has to do with like his recent head injury, Sneako seems very rattled by this hit piece, very shook up after watching it in a way that he's like never been watching any other person's content. Like you'd think with the whole Moist Critical thing where he literally shows the gun, he's like, they're mags, not clips. He'd be like, oh shit, I'm actually worried. Is he gonna come to my apartment with that gun? But no, he maintained total arrogance and overconfidence throughout that entire situation. But after watching Gokanaru's hit piece, he literally gets the robot and he starts inspecting it to see if there's a camera in there, because he thinks Gokanaru literally mailed him a camera to watch Sneako from his own home. Now, there's nothing wrong with looking out for yourself and your personal safety, of course, and this is why I said at the beginning of the video that I'm not calling him insane as like a pejorative, but this is totally out of character for Sneako. He's never been this, like, I guess, afraid. Like, he was literally dancing around with a gun when he was roasting Moist Critical, a guy who lived in the same state as him and, like, could have actually met up with him, but because Gokunaru mailed him a plastic robot that he starts freaking out. So take a look at this clip.
Well, this has got to be like a... Did I let somebody put a camera in my house?
Rabbit.
That shit is the definition of parasocial, bro. Yeah, no, that's that.
Well,
I mean, like, all right, good effort into the video. Shit is creepy, dude. That's like the type. That's the reason. Like, people like that generally chat are like the reason that I walk around with the gun everywhere I go. Genuinely.
And before all this, the way he's reacting to the Gokunaru video is like he's not even there. He's barely present. He's like, bruh, which is like, obviously you can say, okay, that's every React streamer, but Sneako is like, actually, he does yell a lot. He does get his chat riled up. He does contribute something to the content that transforms it. And this time he's just kind of sitting there. And you know, I get that people have off days and stuff like that, right? But I think also just looking at some of his other streams recently, that energy is just totally missing. And I think maybe he's just recovering or something like that. But I can't ignore the possibility that perhaps this dude is like seriously injured. Like I feel like he's just not him. Like I was watching some of his VODs recently to see what his energy was like, and he genuinely just seems so disinterested. He's just like scrolling through his Discord memes channel to react to clips and stuff, and I guess that is kind of monotonous and boring, but Sneako usually has found ways previously to make it interesting, but whether it's just like him screaming, yelling, or going insane, or having someone in the call, he's just kind of by himself and just is like, yeah, next meme, and it's just like, I feel like there's something very missing. I don't have a window into this guy's life off camera, but he is literally a streamer, meaning most of his life is on camera, so I am going to assume I'm seeing most of what's happening in this dude's day-to-day life. And the most significant thing that was captured on his stream was obviously him getting his ass beaten by Strickland and, you know, acting like a total zombie afterward. You know, maybe it's temporary, but his attitude is just different too. Like the way he's dealing with criticism is different. Like he just seemed totally freaked out and stunned over that Gokunaru video. It like got to him in a way that I don't think any other YouTube beef has gotten to him, which is just weird, and the timeline for this all just kind of makes me want to believe this narrative. And look, obviously he could be faking this entire thing. He could just be acting freaked out and more scared than he actually is, just so his chat, I don't know, like is startled too. But I've seen enough Sneako content, for better or for worse, to genuinely sense when there's a disturbance in the force, and it feels like this dude is just not okay. And I know I'm not the only one. If you go to his VODs recently, like any of them from the past week, read the chat. They're all saying he has like a CTE, which is a brain injury of some sort, a head injury. So recognizing that Sneako fans themselves, the people that watch him the most and probably would be, you know, the best to consult when asking, is he okay? They're kind of saying the same shit, so I know I'm not alone. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Do you think I'm stretching, or do you think Sneako may have actually been injured, or at the very least is acting different? Maybe it's not from the punch, or maybe it is, but do you guys notice it? I feel like it's not just me. Maybe he's just getting tired of streaming, or I don't know, it's just not the same as it used to be. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace.